Hello and welcome to this special edition of Movies Not Films. My name is Anthony Ray Sierra. I will be sitting in for Angel Martinez. He's out sick. We hope he comes back with a speedy recovery. And today we are at the Newport Beach Film Festival presented by Specific Sales. And today I'll be interviewing Mr. Gregg Schwenk, from the CEO and co-founder of the Newport Beach Film Festival. Thank you for your time, Greg.
Well, thank you guys.
All right. Just to start off with the first question, could you give us some background from your professional career, a little bit of history about the festival, and then your role in organizing the festival?
Sure. So this will be the 19th year of the Newport Beach Film Festival, and we also are very proud and excited to have Pacific Sales as a presenting sponsor. But when we started 19 years ago, we were very small. We started actually in my office at Citigroup. My background's investment banking. I used to work, still do from time to time, in mergers and acquisitions, and always had a very strong passion for film. A dear friend of mine, Todd Corderero, who has a very strong background in marketing, is really a genius as far as marketing. He and I sat down and said, really, there should be a world-class film festival in Newport Beach. And we went through different ideas and different combinations, but we felt there could be no better backdrop, no better location than Newport Beach for a festival celebrating global film. And that was 20 years ago, and we put together our first film festival that took place in March, and we've been going ever since. We had a couple hundred films, we had a few special events, and it really revealed to us the passion and interest in film that Southern California, especially Orange County, has, and that there is an opportunity to see the opportunity to see great film is very much respected and of interest to a wide range of our population.
Okay. So also you're a Cal State Fullerton professor.
Yes.
Right?
So about 17 years ago, I had an opportunity to work with Dr. Cynthia King out at Cal State Fullerton. She's on our board, and she had asked if I would be interested into coming in and giving a lecture or a talk with her class about the film festival. And it went very well, and from that sprung the opportunity to teach at Cal State Fullerton. So I was asked to sort of prepare a curriculum, work with different texts and aspects of both the film festival and what we do in the community. And so over the summer I developed a course that my focus was to look at this is the course that I would have wanted to take if I were in school. So it really combines all the different facets of putting together the film festival, and it teaches students about event planning, about partnership development, about sponsorship development and execution, and then the execution of a major event. So they see all these different things through the lens of supporting the film festival, but also by building up these relationships with many supporters, partners, and sponsors that are natural allies in the process of putting a festival together. So it's a really special opportunity. I've really enjoyed doing it, and what's been so rewarding are the students who have gone on to work with CAA or to work at Paramount or at Disney or Lionsgate, and come back and talk to my current students, or are interviewing and want to meet my current students because of the experience they had in the course. So I'm very proud of what the students have done, both currently and in the past, and I think it's just a really special experience.
That's awesome. I mean, I can see especially the power of just networking just by taking that class and just going through this program.
Oh, it's been great. I think for me personally, it keeps me at the top of my game because my students are always looking at it with fresh eyes. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always having to justify why we do something or explain why this happens. And then when it comes to the different integration of technology, whether it's social media or digital or whatever it may be, there are so many things that have changed over the last 15 years. The social media alone. You look at the algorithms that shift around and how the students maybe market to a particular audience. That's changed within just the last 2 or 3 years, let alone the last decade and a half. So it's been a really great experience, and something that I have found to be very rewarding, and that I've hopefully been able to give as much back as possible to the students. And as I said, the thing that's been really fun for me is to hear how students have gone on. I had one student who was very interested in event planning, and she has gone on to become a senior vice president in a destination marketing company. And she's come back a number of times to talk to the class. I've had other students who have gone on to become producers and directors in their own right, and that's really not the focus of the class, but that they have gotten so interested in what they experienced at the film festival that they went down that particular path. And the vast majority of people have gone in and continued into the marketing, maybe talent management and that side of it, or event planning and sponsorship development. So it's just a very hands-on, practical experience that uses the film festival as sort of that crucible by which all these things are taking place, and it gives you that. The important thing I look with my students is they're never flying alone. I'm always with them on this process, where if I had brought on a company, I would go, you go and come back to me, as opposed to I'm with you on every step of the way. And it's fun to see both the challenges and the solutions that students have, and that it's very refreshing. I feel much more confident every week when I go to class that our country will be in good hands.
Yeah. It's very inspiring just to hear your story. What's a good piece of advice, especially going from starting this? What good advice could you give students or anybody who wants to start a project like this?
Well, I often joke, never ever start a film festival. These are truly labors of love. I've had a couple of acquaintances and friends who around the United States and around the world have tried starting up their own film festival, and I have forewarned them. Coming from an investment banking background, where I had the great opportunity to talk with business owners on a daily basis and find out how they started their company and the challenges they would face and how they would work through those. This is a very challenging business in that if you look at it, it is cyclical because it's only for one period of the time of the year. We're live 8 days and then we shut down. And everything else is planning around that. Yeah. So when we start working on things, we're already now. We're in April. The festival's next week. We're already planning for next year's festival. Yeah. And what's hard is things change in the interim. I'll give you just a quick example. We're very excited to be working with a new company out of La Jolla called The Lot. And they've taken over an existing theater, and they've completely transformed that theater into the premium luxury theater in Orange County. Now, where we're always running into situations is, will it be ready by this time? Then also what they've done is they've shifted seat counts on us because they're adding in those luxury premium, the reclining chairs and the ultra plush, and it's going to be beautiful, but that's shifting our business model a little bit. That tweaks it just a bit. Whereas maybe if we had X number of seats, we're going to have a few less than that because the super premium seats take up a little bit more room. Now, what we lose in seat count, we make up for with that experience, which we're excited about. But that just changes the nature of the business. So you kind of exactly. And a year ago I wasn't even thinking about that. So, but I've got there's an incredible team here at the festival that is very good at what they do. So whether it's Todd Cordero's team in marketing, working with some of the best clients out there, working with some of the best firms and creatives to put together our award-winning trailer or our incredible ad campaign, whether it's Sarah Seeger and the team at programming and Dennis Baker in shorts. These are people who are really at the top of their game and really know their industry and their aspect of the festival. So I feel very, very good that the heads of all these different parts of the company are able to adjust very, very quickly. So I have no worries on that front. It's very hard to plan. And then when you look at just the nature of what's going on, more and more people are consuming entertainment on different devices or in different places than the theater. Numbers keep going up on certain cases because ticket prices keep going up. So it's kind of an illusion that more and more people are watching movies in the theater when they start saying, ticket sales have either declined by a small amount or have gone up. Well, yeah, because you're charging more and more for those, so your revenue better be increasing. what we need to be looking at is the total number of admissions. And what we're excited about is that each year our numbers keep going up. Raw numbers of people attending, the gross number of people attending the festival. What is challenging is being able to keep that momentum,
Yes.
and that still after 19 years, we get some people that, oh, I thought the film festival was only for people in the film industry, or I thought, oh, I had to be a director or a producer to go. No, this is for the community, and I mean that the greater community of Southern California. It's for people who enjoy good movies, the great experience of seeing a movie with someone else in an audience, and most importantly, a unique experience of seeing that movie with the people who made it. And that's one of the things we often talk about at the Newport Beach Film Festival is the special opportunity to take what is a passive experience and make it active, where you go to a movie, the lights come down, movie screens, and you go home. Whereas this way, when the lights come back up, the director's there, the actors are there, the screenwriter's there, the cinematographer, the editor. They're there to talk with you about that creative process. And that's a really cool experience if you've never gone out to a film festival. And the other thing about it is, and this is when Todd and I sat down to found the festival, was to make it accessible. I happened to grow up in Newport. Todd grew up in Orange County, so we knew that Orange County had that rap of very luxurious, maybe a little exclusive, and those may be some of the nice things that people would say. But it is a beautiful place. It is very luxurious, but what we wanted to make sure is that it was accessible. So we always have tried to keep the price points, especially for our general screenings, very reasonable. Excuse me. And then we also have offered up many discount opportunities for college students, for seniors, for our men and women in the armed services, and in the police, fire department, paramedics. And so we really try to offer these opportunities for everyone in the community to make sure that they are able to experience a film festival. And then on the other side of that, because of a very generous grant from the Arts Commission, our seminar program, which is highly, highly regarded, is free. So if you ever wanted to come out and experience this seminar at a film festival, if you're going to Cannes, if you're going to Sundance or Toronto, these would be $30, $40, $50 seminars, and they're free. And so we've got a great seminar on cinematography that's hosted by Variety and Zeiss, the lens company. And we have a truly remarkable editing panel, the heroes of editing, so editors that have worked on major superhero films. That's correct. And then we've got women in animation, we have screenwriting, and music on film. And it's a really just very rich and interesting and engaging discussions by people who are at the very top of their career, talking about what it's like to compose music for film or how to edit, or anything. It's just a really wonderful thing for people who are in that industry or want to go into that industry or that facet of the industry, but also for people that might be maybe even armchair enthusiasts to kind of go, oh, I'd like to know what it's an editor to do.
So yeah, that's great. But you're able to do those free seminars, and it's on Saturday and Sunday?
That's correct. So the festival starts April 26th. We run Thursday to Thursday, and so our opening night is the Southern California premiere of an amazing film called American Animals, and it's about a group of young men that decide to rob a collegiate library of rare books, and it's based on a true story. So obviously it probably does not go well if it's a heist that we're able to talk about, and we know who did it. But it's a really remarkable film. It's told in a way that is both documentary style and narrative style, and it's a very, very unique film. It started out at Sundance. It then went on to South by Southwest, and it's making its Southern California premiere with us, which we're very proud of. And it's just a really, really great film. And then we kick off on Friday with a whole suite of movies across all of our 14 venues. And on Saturday, we have everything opens up wide, and we go from, I think, 11 o'clock till 11 o'clock. And then out at the Newport Beach Civic Center, that's where we hold our seminars. And those, again, are free to the public. It's a first come, first serve. And it's just a really great time. And in a background in teaching and an interest in sharing information, seminars have all had a very strong, a soft part of my heart. So I really am excited I always come in and sit in on some of those to see what people, what they experience. And I'm always very excited to see what we have. Then we have our honors and awards program on Saturday, and Saturday night we have a whole array of centerpiece films, and then a big gala at the Newport Beach Country Club, and that's featuring about 30 of the top restaurants in Orange County doing their signature dish and entertainment and so forth. And again, on opening night, I'm going to go back to that. Our opening night, and it's tough because everyone's very proud of what they work on, but we're exceptionally proud of opening night in that, again, for that night, it's about 25 to 30 of the best restaurants in Newport Beach. They're bringing out their best dishes, and they do a signature tasting. It's bar hosted by Tito's Handmade Vodka. We have a private performance by the award-winning Academy of Villains dance troupe. And we have a special performance by a band called Side Deal, and they sort of launched with us last year, and they've gone on to do exceptionally well, and they are just an amazing group of guys that I think will really entertain the crowd. I've had filmmakers approach me after seeing what a wow opening night is, saying, if I ever have to shoot the opening of a film festival, I want to come back to Newport to shoot yours, because it's what you think the opening of a film festival should look like. It's very special and pretty spectacular. And then the week just goes on from there. But I'm really proud of the lineup. The programming team has worked so hard throughout the year to work with not only studios and distribution companies, but also to cull through the myriad of film that we have at the festival that's submitted.
To touch on that, how would you go about the process of submitting a film or being accepted?
Sure. So when we started the festival, as I mentioned, not only did we want accessibility from the standpoint of our audience, but we wanted accessibility and respect of the filmmaker who submits their film. When we started 19 years ago, everyone was submitting on VHS tape. And I can remember the mountains of tape that we would receive. And I remember talking with filmmakers, and they said they would submit to festivals, and they were told that they would watch 20 minutes of their feature film, and if they didn't like it, they would turn it off. And I said, that really isn't fair. And to drive that point home, I was talking to a programmer at the time, and we were discussing a film that was submitted, and we had two very different opinions on the film that was there. So conflict is a good thing, and I wanted to hear what she had to say, and she wanted to hear what I had to say. I ultimately felt that she was correct, but I really appreciated the conflict and the respectful discourse between the two of us. But I said, if I was the only one programming, if I'm the only one watching that, that's a great deal of power to a programmer, and it also may not bring the highest quality of film to our community. And so we sat back and said, we have a goal that every submitted film will be reviewed at least 5 times in its entirety before a decision is made. We've sometimes not always met that goal, but I'd say that's always what we're trying to strive for, is at least 5 times. I'd say the vast majority of our films are watched at least 5 times. We have built a whole back-end system where we can rate and rank the films in from a geeky background. I can look across and see not only what the programmer and the reviewer of that film is scoring that particular film, but their weighted score. So I can look at how they score that and how they score other films. Are they too lenient? Are they too harsh? And then at the end, once the film has gotten into the festival, I bump up the audience score against those scores, so I can see how in tune are you with our audience. It's not saying that every film has to be a home run with the audience, but I do want to see does the audience appreciate our films? And what's been really cool watching this over the years is that slowly I've seen an uptick in the cumulative audience score overall. So that's telling me that the people who are seeing the films at the Newport Beach Film Festival year over year are liking the films better and better. Again, you're going to have those outliers. You're going to have ones that they love and ones that they're not so much in love with. But that's the great thing about a film festival. I said, if everything was a home run, then we'd be probably doing something wrong. But I think I really, really have been extremely proud of how hard programming has worked to bring in, I think, what is probably the strongest lineup in our history. Really just stellar, stellar stuff. I could turn to any page in the program going, there are great films here.
Just to compare, I remember you talked about a little bit, how would you compare those festivals from, say, Cannes Film Festival?
Well, I think it's very tough to compare any festival to Cannes. Cannes is sort of the granddaddy of all festivals, and it's even tough to compare to something like a Sundance or a Toronto, especially. These are pillars within the great pantheon of film festivals. What I look at is what each festival is special. And each festival has its unique personality and its unique traits, especially given its location. And Cannes, south of France, and Toronto is the financial and economic hub for Canada, and they've done so much with the arts there. I mean, it's just incredible where they've been able to put the light box as far as Toronto, and that's where they do all the screenings in Toronto. Just amazing stuff. True commitment to the arts. And Sundance, nestled in the middle of the mountains and a resort. I mean, it's beautiful year-round, let alone when you're up there for the festival. And obviously with that one, you've got Robert Redford, who, legendary in his own right, but to be able to have that as the person driving your festival forward, it's a true gift to our community, as far as the creative community, but also to the festival itself. When I look at Newport Beach, again, is a beautiful setting. People would want to come to Newport Beach if there wasn't a film festival. But you use that as the backdrop for an international film festival, and it has some of the allure and the lifestyle luxury aspect of a Cannes. We have the proximity to Hollywood being only about an hour away, to where sales agents and distributors, financiers, and industry types will come down for the weekend. I was just on the phone with a distribution company, and they're bringing 3 of their junior people down to Newport for the weekend. And for them, it's easier for them to come down to Newport and have these men and women take a look at film than it is to ship them out to Sundance when they're seeing some of the same stuff, and they're seeing some new stuff too, that they haven't seen so far. And if they need to come back for some reason, they're back in an hour. So it makes a lot of economic sense for them to come down here to Newport Beach, take a look at our films, meet our filmmakers, and have the opportunity to see these things with an audience that really appreciates the film.
You mentioned international. Could you touch on the relations to that international and also the UK?
Oh, sure. So I think there's 2 pieces to it. One, there are a lot of festivals that sort of focus primarily on U.S. We have, I think, the vast proportion of our lineup comes from the U.S., but we also have 50 different countries represented in the festival. As I mentioned before, the programs that we do with my students out at Cal State Fullerton, they work with the different international spotlights that we put on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sunday is our Irish component. We've actually the largest contingent of Irish film on the West Coast, and we've got 3 major films that are part of our Irish showcase this year on this coming Sunday. And those are films that have won Irish Academy Awards, that went on to win great awards at the Cork and the Galway Film Fleadh, or the film festival in Galway. And these are just truly some of the best films coming out of Ireland. On Monday, we have our Pacific Rim celebration, and that's Australia, the Philippines, and that's kind of the Philippine. We cheated with that one a little bit. It's actually a film on Filipino food, which is an outstanding film. We have China, Japan, and Korea. Then on Tuesday, we have our European showcase, which is Sweden, Italy, France, and Germany. And then on Wednesday, we have our Latin showcase, which is Mexico, Chile, and Brazil. Each one of those evenings has a after event, and we celebrate the different cultures out from those films, and especially those cultures in those communities here in Southern California. So we're very closely align ourselves, whether it's with the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, whether it's with the Latin Studies programs at Chapman and UCI, at UCLA, and we bring them all down to be involved with the evening. Whether it's the German American Business Council or the American Australian Association, all these different groups come together with us for their night and their time for their culture and their creativity to shine. And so it's been a really unique opportunity to unite Southern California through the medium of film. Then on the other side of this, about 4.5 years ago, Gregg Schwenk, who is the president of Visit Newport Beach and Newport Beach and Company, they're the marketing and destination arm for our city. He and I sat down and started talking about the future of the festival, but also about some of the goals that we may have had as far as building alliances internationally. And we really came to the conclusion that we'd like to do something outside of the U.S. And he gave me some options, and I said, I think the strongest relationships we have happen to be in the United Kingdom. I had done quite a bit of work in investment banking with a number of the financiers and business people in the UK, and then on the other side of that, I also serve as on the board of directors for the British American Business Council here in Orange County. I'm a BAFTA member, and so really active within the British and British American community. So we decided that we were going to host a major event in London and kind of plant our flag, for lack of a better term, in London the Thursday before the BAFTAs. So it's kind of our equivalent to the Academy Awards. And so we started off, and I won't give you the whole series of things, but we recognized the film The Imitation Game. And we had Keira Knightley and Benedict Cumberbatch, and we honored them and the entire cast from the film. And that was for us a home run, and it was just great. Well, you fast forward now, this was just our 4th year, this last February, and it's grown into an awards program where we honor not only outstanding contributions from breakout performances to artists of distinction, which are people kind of in mid-career doing some amazing things both in front of the camera and within the community, as well as icons. These are legendary people. And we also recognize film, an individual film, but we've partnered with Variety Magazine, and we host their 10 Brits to Watch. So we're the only festival in the world that has 2 10 to Watch programs with Variety Magazine, and those are extremely coveted and extremely well curated selections by Variety. The 10 to Watch that we have here at the Newport Beach Film Festival proper is the 10 cinematographers to watch, and the one in the UK is the 10 Brits. So this kind of ties it all together, and it's just an amazing evening. And so we're looking forward. Next year will be our 5th year with that program, and we're very excited about some of the ideas that we're bringing together for that. So it's a great way to extend our brand and to extend our creativity over to the UK. It also, through partners at Equity and some film locations, we work very closely with Creative Scotland, Creative England. We just recognized Film Liverpool, which is one of the top filming offices in the UK, and we work with those different organizations to make their partners and their constituency aware of the Newport Beach Film Festival, and we've seen a strong uptick in submissions and quality submissions coming from the UK to our festival, and more we're seeing that that's developing some opportunities that our filmmakers have when they meet with some of the people we have that come over for, hey, I got my DP from the UK, or my screenwriter's based, in Manchester, or wow, I'm going over, we're going to shoot in Northumbria, or all this cool stuff that would never have happened in another film festival just because of what we're doing in the UK. So we're very excited about that. We've got a few ideas about expanding that opportunity to other countries and other partnerships. So we're very proud of what the Newport Beach does here and around the world.
That's really amazing. For just some of the most critical and financially successful films of this past year have been women and other minorities, and you kind of already do have that diversity part of it. But how does the festival help support that cinematic diversity?
Well, I think again, we always wanted to be when we founded the Newport Beach Film Festival, we always wanted to be a reflection of Southern California. And Southern California, I think a lot of people think that Newport Beach is very white. And I'm saying that because I'm about as white as they get. But it is, it's a much more diverse place. And it's become so in my lifetime, and I think for the better. It's a clear reflection of our world. And I think the other side of that, this is going to be a little bit longer answer on some of these things, but I think there's a few things. One, we have always been very steadfast in our commitment to focus on quality. And a number of years back, we started a program called Women Direct, and we started recognizing women directors. And we started looking at not so much a mandate or a quota, but looking at the women directors that we had. And we started noticing that we were getting very close to 30, 40, 50% on average between shorts and features of women directors. And then we started looking at women writers and producers, and it became a very large percentage of our films were with women. That some played a critical role in some facet, whether it be writing, directing, producing, most definitely, but looking at on the pure creative side of writing, directing, and writer, director, producer. Yes. And the other side of it, as I mentioned, is we always want to make sure that we're looking at stories from a global perspective, not only from the aspect of where those films are from, but the stories that they're telling. And I think the programming team has been very good at looking at stories that are relevant not only to a 50-year-old white guy, but to people throughout Southern California, no matter what their ethnicity might be, that these are just really great, powerful stories. And that's both from the standpoint of who is telling that story and what that story is about. And as I said, with 50 other countries being represented in a very diverse, unique culture that we have here in Orange County and Southern California, we were truly, again, we're Orange County's film festival. I mean that not only from our location, but also from the content that we have. The other side of that story, I think, is one that I think is reflected in technology. And when we started the festival, it was very clear who had money and who didn't. And now, when you look at the technology that you have, whether it be access to red cameras or editing systems or drones, I mean, you can get a shot with a drone today that would have been $1 million shot 10 years ago.
Helicopter or crane.
Yeah, I mean, it blows me away when I see stuff, short films, that I'm going, even 5 years ago, would have been impossible. And what that does, it levels the playing field. That, I don't care who your mom and dad happen to be, but if you've got a good story and a little bit of creativity in how you can get the tools, they're there. And that's refreshing to me. That no longer is this a rich person's game, for lack of a better term. It's an opportunity for everybody to tell the story they want to tell. And now it goes back to the quality of your writing, the ability that you have to direct, the skilled eye of your DP and your editor, all the things that should be going back to, as opposed to, wow, how much money do you have and how much, I can think back to probably our third or fourth year, and a filmmaker happened to bring in a film, and he was very proud of his crane shot. And, I'm going, yeah, that's cool, but that's not what the movie's about. And right. And so what I see now is that there's so many great stories out there, and they're no longer being held back by money's still an issue. I'm not saying it's a panacea, but it's far less of an issue from the standpoint of access to technology to make the movie than it was 10 years ago.
For touching on that with a filmmaker, what is the festival succeeding in doing for the filmmaker?
I think, again, one of the great things about Newport, I go to see films all the time up in LA. and there is that, and I can't remember the word in German, but it's the one. It's the German word for, taking great glee in the downfall of your friends. Like Schadenfreude, or I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like, I mean, definitely there is that feeling sometimes in LA that I'll be going to a movie premiere, and people will kind of be sitting around gunning for its demise, and also from the other side of it, or the continuing that, is that you get a little jaded, I think, in Los Angeles, in that there's a movie premiere every week, maybe every other day sometimes. Whereas here in Orange County, it's a much more special experience for our audience. Not to say that we don't bring a lot of people down from LA, but I'm thinking that for the vast majority of our audience, these are people who are rooting for that movie. So when you play at Newport Beach, you're going to see it with an audience that wants you to hit a home run. It's like everyone in the audience is your mom. And I think filmmakers have come to me and said, this is such a great crowd. And they ask very thoughtful questions. And they're really engaged and excited to meet you. Whereas I think other festivals, I think either you have to go farther away, or it's just a very special experience down here. And I think the other side of it is that because so many of our filmmakers attend, that it is that familial experience, beyond having everybody, your mom watching it, is that filmmakers will stay 4 or 5 days, and they build up a friendship. And again, from that, hey, I got my DP at the Newport Beach Film Festival, or I was sitting down and we're talking about these different ideas. To take it even a step further, I wasn't at this screening, but I heard this through an old friend of mine who was there at the Q&A, and the lights go up, Q&A starts, and one of the last questions was, what's your next step with your movie? And the director goes, oh, I need about $10,000 to $15,000 for finishing, and then I want to take it out and really sell it. And the guy goes, come to my office on Monday and I'll have a check waiting for you. And it was just, people were blown away. And that's the kind of experience I think people have in Newport Beach. I mean, that is the money side of Newport. So that's the. I wish I'd known who the guy was, because I tell him I've got a great festival he can put some money into. But it was really, I was really excited to hear that, and I think that's the type of passion that our audience brings, that they really believe in the filmmakers. And so I think that's something that's special. And then the other thing about it is from the sheer planning of what we do at the Newport Beach Film Festival. So you've got amazing opening night. You've got a great set of parties on Friday, Saturday, and then also you have some things that are just for the filmmakers. And those are some private receptions that we do, private little get-togethers, where they get to meet one another in a less crazy social environment. Look, opening night's 2,500 people that attend the party. That's a huge party. That's bigger than some film festivals. Total attendance. So you look at 2,500 people and you throw in 300 filmmakers in there, and they can't find one another. So one of the things we try and do is do more and more things just for the filmmakers, and that's been one of the cool things we've been able to establish over the years, are these special little experiences for the filmmakers to meet and socialize and get to know one another, to get to know the programming staff and some of our other VIPs and special guests.
From people that attend, a lot of families go. Is that stuff for kids?
Yes. We have some really great family programming. On the Truly Fun side, we have our Shorts for Shorties, which is a specially curated program for kids. Obviously, they're the shorties. And those are some really, really great, wonderful films, short films, that our programming team has been able to curate and put together. Then we have a number of family-friendly titles, usually on Saturday and Sunday. One of the things we're doing is a special retrospective of Peter Pan. We've got other great feature films that are for kids and family. Taking it one step above that, we have a very powerful youth film program. Now those are films by kids under the age of 18. I do forewarn parents on this that some of the kids have some very strong stories that I wouldn't necessarily want a 5-year-old or even a 10-year-old to watch, but they're very, very well made. And when I sometimes am able to pop over and talk with some of the filmmakers there, and I tell them that when we go through these, it's one of the toughest curatorial processes we have at the festival, because, and honestly, you have the full range. You have some films that truly only their mother's going to love, and you have other ones that truly, I don't know, for a 16-year-old to make this, that's amazing. And I think the coolest part about it, from that other end of the spectrum, is they haven't gone to film school, and someone hasn't told them, oh, you can't make a movie this way. So it's super interesting, sort of non-linear, sometimes storytelling. It's storytelling from a vastly different perspective, and I'm going, wow, this is really cool. It's just I just haven't seen this before. It's because no one has told them they can't make a movie like this.
Free to do that.
Correct, and I think that's very refreshing. So yeah, those are the things on both sides, both for families and then by younger people, that we have at the festival.
That is awesome. So probably for our last question is, what is it that motivates you and your team to continue to make the next one even bigger?
Well, I don't think we necessarily make it even bigger.
Or to keep on going.
Sure. Well, I think, look, when Todd and I started the festival 19 years ago, I don't think we would have imagined that we are where we are today. I mean that in a very good way. I don't mean that as a negative thing. I think we sit down and kind of envision when we think about where we've been and now where we're going to go. I think what we're very proud of is next year is going to be our 20th anniversary. I think I've seen many festivals come and go in that time. Some very big ones, ones I've been very proud to associate with, and ones that I know the people personally, and it's a tough business. And as a small arts nonprofit, we sit back and every day we make tough choices, and we work together to overcome hurdles. But we do so because it's a great responsibility, and we have a great deal of pride in that responsibility to bring to Southern California outstanding film. And I don't think we don't shy away from it, and we definitely aren't afraid about what we have to do. But right now I'm excited. Now I'm pumped because we're a week away from the festival starting. When August hits and all the bills come due, and things and problems start coming around that I can't solve through financial means, you go, oh, this is so hard. But it's because, one, we've got an incredible staff. I mean, the programming team, the marketing team, all the people that go out day in and day out and day in to find really wonderful film are just so passionate about it. I would say the bottom line, we really love our community. Most of us live here in Orange County, and a lot of us grew up in Newport and the surrounding area, and we really have a great deal of true love for our community. And we have an even greater love for the creative community. And to have the opportunity to host a festival here in Newport Beach, to bring filmmakers from around the world and have them meet our audience and to meet one another, that's just a true, it's a joy every day to come in and make that happen. I'm not to say that there aren't tough days, but definitely I look at, I made a lot more money in investment banking, but I have a lot more joy here.
That's awesome. Again, I just wanted to say thank you just for starting this. I grew up in San Bernardino County. I only heard about the Newport Beach Film Festival last year and was upset that I missed it because I didn't hear about it at that moment. But it's awesome to hear all the great things that you're doing, especially in this part of South Cal, and just bringing that international networking and showing that sense of community, because that's what it sounds like that you and your team bring. Especially in the OC, you represent it well, and you embrace the art culture. So I just think that's awesome and amazing. For any tips of wisdom you could probably give your listeners, what would you say to anybody out there?
I'd say first and foremost, come out. One, support festivals in your own community. Mm-hmm. What's so amazing is that when we started, there were probably 1,000 film festivals. I think there are 5,000 film festivals out there now, if not more, worth their salt. I mean, these are ones that are real viable festivals. But there are great festivals in every community in the world now, it seems. Mm-hmm. So support those, because you don't have to come just to Newport Beach to have these. You can have them where you live. Two, come to our festival. We're really proud of it. And try something you wouldn't normally try. And I think sometimes we get very, oh, I'll go do this. Well, go see a movie, go see a series of shorts. Go see a documentary you wouldn't necessarily see. Go watch a narrative and make sure that the filmmakers are there so you can experience a Q&A. These are all things I think that are very much a festival experience. Go to one of the parties. I mean, the other thing about it is people, oh, I hear about all these parties at Cannes or at Toronto or at Sundance. Well, you can go to these, and they're, our Pacific Rim celebration on Monday night is $45 to go. That's a hosted bar, that is entertainment, that's DJ, that's some of the tastings of some great restaurants. So all these wonderful things, go and experience some of those things. And I think, I mentioned before, try out the seminars. You don't spend any money, go to see something free, fine with me. But I think it's just you got to get up, you got to get down here to Newport Beach, and come see what we've put together.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. It was very enlightening.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you. See who makes the cut.
Okay.